everyone. What I want to talk about today is tapping or emotional freedom technique. I want to do a review because I think it's so important and it came up for me lately. I did a video about 5 years ago on EFT, emotional freedom technique, and I just want I look at, we're living this life where things are happening, and one of my goals is to share different things, different practices, different things we can have. I look at it like a toolbox, like it's our own personal, we're the carpenters of our lives, and I look at this as my carpenter toolbox for me. And EFT is one of those practices that is, hopefully you'll put in your toolbox and keep it there and use it. This is like a hammer. You're going to use it every day. So, first of all, EFT has been proven to work. It's been proven to work so much that the Veterans Association, the VA, now has it incorporated into some of the practices. It's like considered one of the practices they use with PTSD. And 8 out of 100 people are going to have PTSD. I mean, I was a caregiver for 37 years. Definitely, I know. I have PTSD. I've had it, and I keep anxiety. I always have to work on that. So, and with everything we're going through, with people trying to, the isolation and everything has caused, the mental health has just skyrocketed. So the anxiety, the depression, the fear has just skyrocketed. And the first thing I'd recommend is turn off the news. Just, the world will go on without us. The most important thing is to keep ourselves healthy, centered, so that we can think clearly and make good decisions. Because when you're fearful, when you're anxious, when you're worried, you cannot make good decisions. So that's why I work with sharing about foods and healing your gut lining, all so you're making solid, grounded decisions and not a decision out of fear and panic. EFT, I've loved it. I've always had great results. But, I've been, since Bree has passed, I've moved a lot. And, I have no idea, where I'm supposed to live, where's my permanent place. I'm very thankful. I am fortunate to have some awesome friends. And I'm living with a couple right now. And I'm very, very grateful to my friends, because I never could have made this whole journey from the beginning to now without the help of some awesome, awesome people. And I shout out to Zunk, one person who helped us so much, passed away a few years ago. And wow, he got Bree and I through, he and his wife got Bree and I through 8 years, so shout out to him. Anyway, EFT is so simple. It's like a sort of psychology, but a tapping. It's you gauge first when you do it. It's just a matter of tapping on certain acupoints, and I'll show you. There are 8 of them, and every time you go around, it's called a round. And I'm gonna give you information in the instructions on who to go and look for. There's an interview with Brad Yates. It's great to listen to. He's been doing this for 20 years. Really started to take attention back in the 1970s. And, if it's gotten to the point where the VA is integrating it, it works, okay? Even if your ego is trying to say, this is not gonna work, it works. Harvard has even shown that by doing a session of tapping, that the stress response goes down in your brain. So it calms you down, like instantly. So, there's at least a minimum of 172 studies that have been done on tapping. Is the easiest way to talk about it. Most people who know EFT, emotional freedom technique, know what you're talking about when you say tapping. It's free. Okay, it's free. And, some people take free things for granted. You know, well, actually, if you are in a financial position to take a session or a few sessions or a seminar with any of the people I'm going to mention, go for it. It'll change your life. Go for it. You'll be out in a position to keep yourself in balance, keep your family in balance. It's just awesome. But for someone like me, I can go into the YouTube, and that's what I've been doing since March 1st, twice a day. One 5-minute session is not going to do it. Really what has been shown that if you do an hour a day, so I'm doing for the next, starting March 1st, for 3 months, I'm doing a half an hour in the morning, half an hour at night. I'm either doing my own or I'll follow someone on YouTube and just follow them through the process. It's easy, it's simple. What you're going to want to know is, first of all, the points and all the clinical studies have been done on these 8 points and on tapping on one side. I'll show you how you can tap on both sides. So you have an issue, you're stressed, you're anxious, you're freaked out, you're overwhelmed, whatever it is. You can start as simple as that. You have a setup statement. First, before the setup statement, you gauge from 0 to 10, 10 being the most stressed, 0 the least, where you are. How fearful are you? How anxious are you? How overwhelmed are you feeling? You gauge that and get your number. All right. And then once you've gotten that, and that's called the subjective units of distress, SUD, S-U-D. Okay. So once you've got that, you have a setup statement. And your setup statement, and I'll type out a few for you, different ones, but your setup statement is basically, even though, and you do it on the karate chop, this side, and left or right-handed, you can do it on the other side, okay, just so you know. So you do, even though I'm feeling so stressed out right now, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I am so stressed, I can't think straight, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm stressed out right now, I don't know what to do, I completely love and accept myself. 3 times, setup statement. It can vary, but that's the setup statement. Setup statement is you're overwhelmed, or it could be worried or fearful, or, setup statement could, I have a speech tomorrow and I'm just totally panicked, and even though I love and accept myself, could be something like that. Then what you're going to do, and when you see Brad Yates do it, or Nick Ortner, or Jessica Ortner, or Dawson Church, any of these people, they all are on YouTube. Then they're going to tap, they're going to do the setup. Then they're going to tap here, which is right between your nose and your eyebrows, starting the bone, right there on the bone. You use your index finger and your middle finger. And that way you're going to definitely hit the point. You're not going to have to worry where the point is. So you tap a few times there. Some people say 7 times, but really you're tapping a few times. Don't count them. You're going to be focusing more on overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed. Then you go to the side, the bone on the side of your eye, not in the indenture back here, on the bone that surrounds your eye right here. And you tap on that. I'm so overwhelmed. I feel so overwhelmed. Then you tap on the bone under your eye, and this is actually your stomach meridian, and you tap there. Okay, a few times. And you'll be following someone through. I just want to give you the basics and why it's important. Because, Brad Yates does a fantastic job of leading you through these. He's got thousands of videos on different topics. So I don't need to repeat him. I just need to let you know this is a tool you want to look at. Then you tap between your nose and your lip, right here. Then you tap between your lip and your chin in that little crease there, right in there. Then the other place is where your bones come to a V, right here. You go about 2 inches down where it goes in, and you tap right there. Okay, tap on both sides. And if you're concerned, just use your whole hand. Okay, if you're concerned about finding the points. And then you tap under your arm where the bra line would be for women, right under your arm, tap there. And then the last one is right at the top of your head. Okay, and you always finish a round at the top of your head. When you're doing it, you're going to see that the other instructors, they lead you through a few rounds of all the things you're feeling. So if you want to do this on yourself, everything around that overwhelm, why you think it's happening. You know, does it go back to your childhood? Who first, you know, just tap that a few times. And then you go to the positive. You end with the positive, like, well, you know I can do this. You know, I've done similar things before. You know, this always works out. It always works out somehow, even when I don't think so. Things work out, you know, and then you do, and you always finish with the positive statement, all will be well in body, mind, and soul. You always use body, mind, and soul. So simple, so easy. But you want to give it a chance. And I go back to my 3-month thing, like healing of your physical body when you're eating better and changing everything really starts to kick in after 3 months because your blood quality has changed. Then I just read this lady's book, The Science of Tapping, Peta Stapleton. Really nice case studies and research, and really informative. And they are now, it is now one of the classes given in the universities in Australia. So, you know, things take a long time to get in standard practice. Normally something new, some new method, some new healing modality of some kind takes at least 17 years to get into the mainstream. That's just what it does. If you hear something in the background, I have a 100-pound dog that I'm looking after right now. And so just want you to know. Anyway, so it takes 17 years. So know that, you know, like it's now coming in to, now that it's the VA, now that universities are starting to teach it, studies have been made, you know, it's more and more recognized as a normal thing. It's so old. That acupuncture is thousands of years old. So, and it, you know, like when Harvard shows that by tapping on these, that the stress response in your brain goes down instantly. That's like a delete button on your computer. How nice is that? You know, when you've been, I guess I really want you to know about this because stress has been definitely something I've dealt with all my life. And I had a mother who worried, and I had a dad who told me some stuff that really, you know, he told all of us, you're not good enough and you don't deserve. So you know, under 6, you believe word for word whatever someone tells you because you don't have the mental, the brain hasn't grown to the point of being able to differentiate that that's not true. He's just saying that for whatever reason, but that's not true. You believe it's true. Then you spend the rest of your life. So please be aware of staying positive for your children. Then the rest of your life, you know, either going to counseling or trying to overcome this negative imprint in your subconscious. So tapping is a great way to do it. And I'm sharing this with you now because it came up for me about a month ago, just before. In my email, I saw an ad for a free 10-day seminar for tapping that I could join. And it was exactly when I was feeling my level of stress. Really, I was going, I can't understand what this is about, you know, why. And then I spent some time and I could understand that the imprint in me, you know, I was a caregiver for 37 years. You're on high alert 24/7. You know, you don't want your child to die, so you're watching all the time. I had this underneath, like shaking, even though I'm safe with friends. You know, I mean, I'm safe. Everything's okay. I'm healthy. Yeah, I have financial concerns for sure, and I'm trying to start over. I'm starting over when most people are doing, you know, starting out in their 20s. But you know, I looked after my daughter. No regrets. Greatest thing I ever did, but I am starting over. And I have an elder dog that I'm caregiving, keeping a close watch on. I even feel my stress. But what I also recognized under that, and anybody that's been stressed, fearful, anxious, phobic, knows you can't think straight, you're immobilized. It's an awful, awful feeling. And I'm not going to band-aid it with medication. I'm not against it. If you have to get through it, you do what you have to do to get through it. But I live a healthy lifestyle, and I know there are methods like tapping. So I said, oh my God, I got to get back into tapping. And I went right into that seminar, and it was every night for 10 nights. They did 2 talks with tapping during the talks, and then they did a tapping session at the end, a third thing. I did that for 10 days, and I've kept it going since. But it came into my life exactly when I was going, my anxiety is very uncomfortable. I'm not feeling good. I could feel the shake under the surface, and I could trace it back to what was happening. It felt like no matter how hard I worked, how much good I put out into the world, how well I lived, that nothing was happening. I was just like I was stuck in the mud, and I couldn't figure it out. It just felt devastating. And then I realized that under the surface was my dad, who he didn't do it intentionally, having said, you're not good enough and you don't deserve. And, you never will be good enough. You never have been. And that was to toughen me up. And all it did was give me this, anxiety, because I try so hard and never get forward and the thing is, I was told I wasn't supposed to. And if I did, oh my God, what bad things are going to happen or something. Anyway, all kinds of different things for different people, but I understand stress and I understand anxiety. I don't want to medicate it because it's Band-Aid in it. I think if someone has to get from point A to point B and you take the medications to get to to get to a functioning place. But I know that's a Band-Aid, so you have to go deeper. You have to go and find out, where is the origin of this? What is happening here? And if you don't know, tap out. And Brad Yates will give you all the, if you're feeling, that you don't love yourself, there'll be a tape for that, for everything. So the other thing I wanted to mention to you, so it's using what you're feeling and tapping to do this. And I told you about the setup statement, but what I wanted to, and this works on 3 areas of your brain. Your amygdala, which is works with stress, the limbic system, which works with your emotions, and the hippocampus, which works with memory. So, all really, really important things. So what I want to point out to you before I finish this is, I told you the Harvard Medical School. And then the conditions that tapping has worked on and they've tried it out on: general anxiety, phobias, obsessive compulsive, PTSD, general trauma, stress, depression, addiction, pain, frozen shoulder, psoriasis, insomnia, seizure disorder, athletic performance, and learning disabilities. Huge. And then the other thing that's really, really important that I want you to know is that after an hour-long session of emotional freedom technique or tapping, research showed that there was, that in 72 genes of our body, after the session, they saw it affect 72 genes in a positive way. Okay, so what happened was things like the suppression of cancer tumors, the protection against ultraviolet radiation, the regulation of type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, immunity from infections, antiviral activity, a synthesis of both white and red blood cells, building white matter in the brain, which is anti-aging, neuroplasticity, reinforcement of cell membranes, and reduction of oxidative stress. That alone is reason to do it. And, you know, if you get to the point where you go, this is not working. One chapter in this book, which is really good, is on the effects on young people and students, because students have so much stress around testing and stuff. This is great for that. Okay, really, if you have children, I've got my little dog here. If you have children, you want to teach them that. You want them to know about it. They've had dyslexic people, you know, be able to read, just working through, but it's not just doing it one time. It's like, I'm going to do it for half an hour morning and night for 3 months. That's what one of the researchers said she found was really good, 3 months. So until things change, you'll know when things change for sure. So testing for kids, testing for students, and when they have it like, oh, this doesn't work, or I can't do this, there's no point in trying, there's no way I can succeed, I might as well give up. They tap on all those phrases. They forget to tap. They tap on why they're forgetting to tap, why they're afraid of the success. They tap on all these things. And, you know, a good tapping session is an hour, and things change up. So as you see that subjective distress level go down, you know, that it goes from a 10 to like a 6 and then down to a 3. You want to get it down. And it's not going to happen from 10 to 1. It's rare in one session. So I highly recommend, here, my little guy's going to say hi. He probably wants to go out. It's my little Truffles, my 16-year-old little guy. So it's really, it's inexpensive. You can go to, and I'll write the names, like there's a tapping solution by Nick and Jessica Ortner. They're brother and sister. And Jessica's written books on weight loss and using tapping. Nick has worked with thousands of people. Oh, I saw him work with one woman on childhood trauma. It was just, I mean, I was just crying watching this woman just blossom, you know. And Dawson Church, he's got the Tapping Summit, and he's written books. So check him out. This Stapleton lady, great book. I'm enjoying this. Have I covered it? And Brad Yates. Brad Yates is on YouTube. Thousands of different subjects, thousands of different feelings that you can tap through. He's written a couple of children's books that I would look at. You know, if you have children, grandchildren, you know, learn this, teach it to them. This is an inexpensive gift you can give them. If you're in a position to go to a seminar or something like that, please, it's going to be worth your while. The tapping solution there has an app, and they have different tapping sessions you can go through, which are really neat. Some cost $1 or $2. Others, there are a lot of free ones. And you know, I love stuff like this. You know, people like me, I'm not in a financial position to, I'd love to go to a seminar. Oh my God, I'd love to go to a seminar. But you know what? I can read the books. I can keep doing it with Brad on YouTube. I can do my own. I can get comfortable. I was even afraid that, oh my God, I might not do it right if I did it on my own. So I tapped through that. So it's a good thing to look at. It's one of those tools. There's no side effects, and it's not expensive at all. It can be done free, and I've had it work. When I was so stressed about a month ago, and I was starting to recognize this coming on, because I was concerned about you, and I was concerned about making a living. I was concerned about paying rent. I was concerned about where I'm going to live. I wanted to do something that meant something that was worthwhile for the rest of my life. And there's times that it all becomes really overwhelming. And I didn't like how it would feel. Now, something that you can also take to help you get to a dealing place is CBD. CBD, I've seen when I was working in a health food store, I had one young man who his anxiety, he couldn't swallow. He gets so anxious he couldn't swallow. So he came in and introduced him to CBD. Please get a good quality. Don't buy one at the garage station. Get an organic. Like one company that's really good is RE. This was the first person to open up the whole hemp field. So his company is really good. And another one is Harmony. They've merged now, Harmony. And just make sure it's organic. Okay, just make sure it's organic. And you can take gummies, you can take tinctures. There are aches and pains, there's creams. But this young man found out he needed to do 3 doses a day. And it comes in a 15 milligram dose. Extreme pain would be 50, 20, 15, 20 is normal, pretty normal. My little guy gets a gummy that I cut up in his food because he's getting old and he's getting anxious. So that can help, but it's a healthy Band-Aid, but it's still a Band-Aid. So something like tapping, the studies have shown, like with the PTSD, it lasts. Once you get to the root of it and tap it out, like deleting it out, it lasts. So that's what long-term you're looking for. I really appreciate everybody. I appreciate you subscribing to my channel. Liking what I put on. I'm putting on what I find works for me, and I'm hoping it works for you. Thank you so much.